Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. So let's jump right back in. Fritz nods as he gives me a pained smile. No apology could ever be enough to excuse what I did to you. I doubted you that night because I thought what you were saying was impossible. I wondered how I could be cursed without knowing about it. But now, I hate myself for treating you the way I did. I must have put you through so much suffering because I did not believe you. I know I have never been worthy of you, but now I have betrayed the trust you had in me. He drops his hand and pulls away from me. I don't think I have the right to be called your knight. I reach out and grab his hand without thinking. Don't say that! Fritz looks at me in shock. His wide-eyed gaze only makes me feel embarrassed, so I have to focus to keep from floundering. After a long moment, Fritz manages to smile at me. It is small but genuine. I don't deserve your kindness. Kindness? Is that what this is? We sit together in silence for some time, enjoying each other's calming presence. My room is quiet as the sun steadily starts to rise. Do you know what happened during the last week? I'm afraid not. I wasn't myself for most of it. He is fading even faster now, and just when I feel that I've truly started to know him. I've already told you about the disappearance of the prince and the princess, but it seems like the queen has gone missing as well. Ophelia is missing? I can only hope that they made it out alive, and that Rod led them back to the march, and there they will be safe. I did not think I would ever trust anyone there, and I still don't, but Parfait said that the margin is a place evil cannot overtake. And whether or not Varge is truly evil, his mission is to kill them. I can at least be sure Parfait will protect them. King Genaro is still here, but he is different. He is not himself. And what happened? It's your mother. The day you fainted, that same morning your mother returned. I can only stare at Fritz in shock, knowing that what happened that night wasn't just a dream. Everyone in the castle is acting as if nothing is wrong. It's like the last 4 years haven't happened. But the instant I saw her, I recognized her. And after that, well, I don't remember what came next. My next conscious moment was today when I saw you. Fritz raises his hand as if to touch my face, but he abruptly pulls it away. He flinches, then doubles over, his face contorting with pain. No, not now! I won't let you! His eyes are cloudy, his gaze turned inward. He is speaking to the other side of himself that I cannot see. I reach out to him and try to call him back. Fritz! He looks up at me and attempts a sad smile. He is trying to make it seem like he is fine. When he speaks, it is through gritted teeth. I'll never let him hurt you. Can you trust me about that at least? Yes. Melody. The shadows dance around him, almost tauntingly at first. Then they simply engulf him and Fritz disappears into darkness. I take a step back. I hate to interrupt. You again. I snarl at him, but Varge merely shrugs. He looks indifferent, as if what transpired between us before never happened. I have things to do today. Varge turns away and walks briskly out of my room without glancing back. I make my way through the halls of the palace, determined to find Sir Mithros. Over the past few months, I have been all but invisible to the people in the palace. It allowed me to pass undisturbed. I had always figured it was because no one remembered who I was with my curse. But today, things are different. A maid sweeping the hallways jumps at the sight of me before quickly curtsying. Your Highness! Her eyes are downcast, and she does not look up at me as I pass by her. As I walk past her, 2 other servants heading my direction also move to the side of the hallway. Your Highness. Your Highness. They remember who I am now. But how? Has my curse somehow been broken? I spend the entire morning searching for Sir Mithros, but he is nowhere to be found. The only room I have yet to search is the throne room. I push open the doors and walk inside. There I am met with an unexpected sight. The king sits on his throne, his posture regal, but his eyes downcast. "Your Majesty!" He does not look up when I enter, but I can see that his eyes are stony, unmoving. I approach him cautiously, and upon closer look, I notice how his eyes look so empty. It's almost as if he cannot see me. I inhale, and something catches in my throat. My heart begins to beat rapidly. What have they done to you? My princess. I whirl around and see Sir Mithros approaching me with a smile. Where did he come from? I could have sworn there was no one else here when I entered. Sir Mithros? I was just on my way to see you. Varge just told me you had awakened. What is wrong with the king? Physically, there is nothing wrong with him at all. Anger begins to burn within me. You swore that you wouldn't harm him. Is he not alive, my princess? Take a good look at him. The king is completely unharmed. The change in Sir Mithros' expression is subtle, but I can feel the malice in his gaze. I should add that it was difficult to keep this promise, princess. My queen will be having words with you about this. Mother? Where is she? She has left the palace for the time being. You have been unconscious for a week. My queen could not spend every moment fretting by your bedside. But didn't Varge say he was the one to stay by my side? I shake the thought from my mind. When will I be seeing her? At dinner, I assume. Now, if that's all... Wait! Sir Mithros pauses abruptly to look at me. The servants I met in the hallway seem to remember me. How? You really cannot guess. He sighs and he runs a hand through his hair. When you turned 18 and became the Tenebrarum bearer, the curse that the lesser witch cast on you broke. What? Moments before your mother woke, you were the strongest witch in all of Angiel. A lesser witch's spell could not have any effect over you. Congratulations, princess. You are no longer a victim of the curse. Your life is back to the way it was before. Now, is there anything else you would like to ask me? Yes, there is. About Fritz. How do I break his curse? Much to my astonishment, Sir Mithros begins to laugh. The sound is cruel and so sharp and deadly it cuts through whatever hope had been forming in my heart. You wish to break his curse? Oh, princess, you should have told me earlier you cared so much about the boy. Perhaps then I would have tailored his curse to your requirements. Poor, upstanding, chivalrous Fritz. In many ways, he was too much of a knight for his father's liking. Sir Mithros leans closer to me, so close I could see the crazed gleam in his eyes. Would you like to know why I cursed him, princess? I remain rooted in place, but not flinching away from Sir Mithros is harder than I would have thought. Sir Alcaster approached his son for help, expecting him to help kill the king and take over the throne, but Fritz refused. Sir Alcaster needed an obedient servant, and Fritz deserved to be punished for stepping out of line. No! And so I removed those memories of Alcaster telling Fritz of his devious plans, and gave him the curse. Fritz has the Little Red Riding Hood curse. There is, after all, no better servant than the big bad wolf. He has all the power and drive of a predator, but he is still so obedient. Wolves are closely related to dogs, after all. And better yet, the big bad wolf will always stay close to the lady he desires to devour. I could feel disgust seething in my stomach. I have created the perfect servant for Sir Alcaster. In short... Sir Mithros suddenly reaches out a hand to grab my face by the chin. He forces my head up at a painful angle. There is no point, There is no breaking his curse, princess, not unless Fritz is somehow able to mentally overpower Varge. And we all know how formidable Varge is. Sir Mithros releases me. Now, put the idea out of your pretty little head. Don't you already have everything you ever wanted? He smiles wryly before turning and walking out of the throne room, leaving me alone and trembling. To break the curse, Fritz has to overthrow Varge in his own mind? A sudden cold descends upon me. I wrap my arms around myself and shudder. I turn to look at the king, but he has not moved since my encounter with Sir Mithros. Your Majesty, did I do this to you? Mother! If she were here, she could make sense of it for me. Mother, where are you? I stare at my now trembling hands. This is not what I wanted at all. Princess, we cannot... I am the crown princess! Which is why we cannot allow you to leave on your own, your highness. It is strange to think, just a few months ago, these same men did everything they could to keep me out of the palace. Your highness, you'll need an escort if you want to leave. I can take care of myself. Back to being a nuisance, I see. Sir! They know who he is. I watch in stunned silence as both soldiers salute to Varge. Varge turns a smirk at me. Well, what's going on here? The princess wishes to leave the palace to visit the town. Does she now? I can feel Varge's eyes on me, but I refuse to look at him. Fine, I will accompany her. But the queen said... The words die in the man's throat as Varge turns to glower at him. His eyes flash with impatience, and it is enough to coax the soldier into silence. Open the gates. Yes, sir. The gates swing open. I rush out, thinking that maybe if I move fast enough I can lose Varge. So, what are we here for? Though I tried my hardest to shake him, Varge is still irritatingly close. It is impossible to leave him. Princess. Varge leans out and wraps his fingers around my elbow, pulling me to a stop in the shadows of an alleyway. My irritation is immediate, and I look up to glare at him. What are we doing in town? As much as I don't want to agree with those idiot knights, you really shouldn't be wandering the streets. My next words are cold and sharp. Why not? Before, that was what everyone insisted I do. And now the only thing everyone wants is for me to stay indoors. Varge is silent for a few moments before finally letting out an exasperated sigh. Angiel is not what it was, princess. What are you talking about? Varge places his hands on my shoulders and turns me so that I am looking out onto the streets. I am not overly familiar with the kingdom, but even I could tell that something is off. The shops that had once had colorful display windows are now empty. Their displays are dull or non-existent. The liveliness of the market stalls is all but gone. My gaze is drawn to the bakery shop that Fritz had taken me to all those months ago. Its dim windows tell me that it is closed. There are so many different sweets here. Buy whatever you like. Are you certain? Absolutely. I know nothing makes you happier than a good pastry. How do you know that? Well, it's a knight's job to know these sorts of things. Just how much do you know about me? Nothing that anyone else wouldn't know. What's my favorite color? Blue. My favorite flower? Lilies. I told you that these croissants were famous, right? Those are my favorite. I'll get a croissant then. Not a custard Danish? I thought you liked those best. A croissant, of course, right away. An all too familiar ache beats within my chest. Has it been that long since that day? Everything was so vibrant and full of energy back then. This place was so lively, but there was music that filled the streets and performances everywhere. But now, so much has changed. So silent. The streets are so empty, and the eyes of the people. Their eyes are glazed and unseeing, just like the king's. I step forward to get a better look without realizing I am only dimly aware of Varja's hands, which have not moved from my shoulders. What happened? The queen happened. But the people! She could take control and could demand obedience, but she can't force love or loyalty. The people of Angiel are being crushed, Princess, and they know who's responsible for it. Varja's voice is hushed, but he still draws stares. I flinch back at the expression on the people's faces as they look at us. There is fear in their eyes. I instinctively retreat until I fall back into Varj, his hands tighten on my shoulders. They know that you're her daughter. These are the looks they have always given me. This is why they have feared me. Abruptly, Varj draws his cape around me, enclosing me in darkness. When light finally filters back into my consciousness, I am facing a completely different street. What did you do? Smoke and mirrors. Things might have gotten out of hand back there, so I got us out. He suddenly releases me and nudges me forward. Can we return to the palace now? I grit my teeth. I still want to see the town. Is it impossible to think that the entire place is so changed? How is that possible? Sir Mithros said Mother was out. I really need to see her. It's almost dinner time, Princess. Your family will be expecting you. Mother will be expecting me. I should see her at dinner, right? Thinking about everything that has transpired exhausts me. I rub my eyes and sigh. Fine, let us return. When I enter the dining hall, a familiar figure stands by one of the windows. I have not seen her for 4 years, but she remains unchanged. Standing before me is the only person whose love I have never doubted. Mother! My dearest one. I moved toward her immediately, like a moth drawn to flame. Soon I have my arms wrapped around her in a hug. I do not care that I am crying. Mother! I have missed you so much. And I have missed you. I cannot believe that Mother is indeed alive. I'm crying so hard, tears blur my eyes, and it takes effort to speak. I thought you died. Mother presses a soft, cool hand to my cheek. Her touch is more comforting than I remember. And it is all thanks to you that I did not. I am so proud of you, love. I had thought her warmth would envelop me longer, but Mother is quick to draw away from me. I look up at her in confusion and flinch when I see that her gaze is cold. But I heard you left the palace today. What have I told you about leaving the palace, Melody? No excuses. You know my feelings on this. But have you truly become so disrespectful while I was absent? Let's not fight. Not tonight. Yes, Mother. Come sit. I take my usual chair and stare at the now vacant seats in front of me. There is a heaviness in my chest as I remember who sat in them. Those are Ophelia, Rodden, and Melanie's places. And the king. I turn to look at him and feel my heart falter, then sink. Melody? The king is sitting in his usual seat, but his expression is as vacant as it was earlier. It's nothing. Mother follows my line of sight and frowns. Ah, Mithros told me of your request. I had not anticipated that you would require something from him in exchange for reviving me. But no matter. I had no desire to see Alcaster's plans come to fruition. Where is Sir Alcaster? My mother beckons quietly with a wave of her hand, and servants begin to place platters of food on the table. Exiled? There is no place in this kingdom for a snake like him. Then why is Varj still here? My mother looks at me with knowing eyes as the servants spoon soup into our bowls. You still need a guard, my dear? It was fortuitous of me to retain him, considering your actions today. I look down, my mind racing. But enough of these consequential notions. We must discuss your training. What? You are the crown princess, and you must learn how to be a queen. Eventually, you too shall become the tenebrarum bearer. I will show you how to control it. It was impossible for me to think of Mother as a witch, but seeing how she speaks so casually of the tenebrarum, and considering all that has happened this week, I have no choice but to believe it. Why did you not tell me about the tenebrarum, about the witches? Dearest one, you were so young. I wanted to protect you. And it is no matter now, for I am here. I will teach you through practical demonstration. I have always found that to be the most effective way. She looks at me sharply. We will begin by punishing those that cursed you. Fear and shock immediately fled through me. What? Punish Parfait and Delora? They have acted to keep you from me and from your destiny. They must be punished. Don't you wish for revenge on those who have wronged you so? Actually, that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, by subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!